Hi, and welcome everyone to the Thermographic Diagnostic Imaging Health Through Awareness webinar series. My name is Leisha Getson, and I'll be your host. I'm a board-certified thermography technician, holistic health counselor, and a Reiki master with TDI, and I'm the founder of Health Through Awareness. Health Through Awareness is a venture to bring like-minded individuals together to share experience and expertise on a wide variety of holistic health topics via monthly newsletters and webinars. Before we begin, just a little housekeeping. Tonight's presentation will be about 50 to 60 minutes, followed by Q&A. You should be able to hear me and the speaker, as well as follow the PowerPoint presentation. To the right of your screen, you'll see a little chat box. If you have a question, please type it in and submit it, and we're going to get to as many questions as possible at the end of the presentation. If for some reason we don't get to your question or you think of a question afterwards, you can email it to tdi@comcast.net, and I'm sure our speaker will be providing an email address or a way to contact her for additional information. If for some reason you get cut off from the webinar, I don't know if you may be able to log back in and fast forward, but don't worry, all of the webinar will be archived on our website within a couple of days, and that link will be sent out to you via email. All right, so let's get started. Our speaker tonight is Kristin Wistar. Kristin is a Feng Shui master, an interior designer, and international speaker. Kristin graduated from the University of Delaware in 1988 with a Bachelor of Science in Interior Design and started her own business in 1990. She has studied interior design, architecture, and Feng Shui abroad in France, Italy, and Ireland. Kristin is committed to educating and enriching people's lives by enhancing healthy energy and merging beautiful design into their environments. Her topic this evening will be Sleep Your Way to Better Health and Well-Being with Feng Shui. So without further ado, Kristin, welcome.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to share this information. I wanted to start off with a meditation. So if you're standing, I suggest that you get a comfortable seat and close your eyes. And I invite you to just roll your shoulders up towards your ears and just let them go, to release any tension. And let's take 3 deep breaths. And as you inhale, just fill your lungs. Feel the air coming in through your nostrils. And just exhale any tension, anything that's come before this moment. And take another deep breath. And just let it go. And one more time, take a nice deep breath. And let go. And now I invite you to imagine a grounding cord coming out from your tailbone, going down into Mother Earth. So we're connecting into the heart of Mother Earth. And her heartbeat and her vibration vibrates at the same frequency that we vibrate. So we're going to connect into her and just allow that grounding cord to go down through all the layers of the earth, through the rocks, the sand, the soil, the waterways, and connect into the very center. Feel her presence. And you'll see a crystal down there. And imagine that you have roots at the end of your grounding cord, and just tether your roots around a crystal. And the crystal can be shiny, it can be coarse, it may have a certain color to it. Just notice that. And feel almost the tug as you just tether your roots around this crystal that just tugs you a little bit further down to Mother Earth. And now bring all that beautiful energy up from the crystal, back up through your grounding cord, and allow it to come back into your spinal cord. And just cleanse and clear each one of your chakras, from your root chakra to your sacral chakra, just continuing all the way up, to your crown chakra. And now open your crown chakra to the heavens above, to your higher self, and to your guides and your angels and your loved ones, and to the universe above. And connect into the infinite possibility that is available to you right here and right now. And just allow crystalline white light to come in through your crown chakra, almost like liquid light pouring into your body. Just imagine this liquid light filling your toes and your feet, your ankles, and your calves and your shins and your knees and your legs fully, filling your torso with beautiful white crystalline light, cleansing and purifying your body, filling all the cells and all the spaces in between the cells with this beautiful white light. Filling your torso and coming up into your shoulders and spilling down your arms into your fingertips. And then filling your neck and your whole head. And now allow this crystalline white light to also go about 4 inches outside of your physical body into your etheric body. Your etheric body is what holds your whole energetic body together. Just allow it to be drenched with this beautiful crystalline white light. And allow any impurities, toxins, debris to just be drained down through the bottoms of your feet and to go back into Mother Earth where she recycles them. And we thank her for that. And now imagine more crystalline white light pouring into your emotional body, which is about 4 inches or more like a foot outside of your etheric body. And allow it to calm the emotions. And now we're going to go another foot above the emotional body into the mental body. We're going to cleanse and purify the mental body where the mental mind chatter is and just quiet that. And now we're going to invite royal blue light in from above our heads, about an arm's length above your head. And imagine it just enveloping your entire body like a big royal blue balloon. And royal blue stands for power and protection. It's the frequency of power and protection. And you can say that you are the power and protection of the universe around you and through you. And now bring in the rose light around and beneath the royal blue light. The rose light stands for unconditional love and support. I am the unconditional support and love of the universe around me and through me. And you can repeat that to yourself if you want to. And now send this rose light out as far as you can possibly imagine, out into the ends of the universe. And by doing so, you're sending your love and support out to the entire universe. And you're also asking for love and support in your life. And now I invite you to bring in the violet light from beneath your feet in a clockwise direction. Allow it to just kind of work its way up through your entire physical body and your aura field. And just to release density. This is a frequency of forgiveness. And it's a very fast-moving frequency. It's something that helps release. So releasing any karma, any density, any patterns or behaviors or anything that you've created that you wish to delete or uncreate. Just allow this beautiful violet energy to do that for you right here and right now. And allow it to just go up above your head. And now we're going to finalize by bringing in a golden dome over your entire body, resting on the ground. And gold represents abundance and magnificence, and it just makes this whole intention come into place. So when you're ready, just rub your hands together. Put your hands over your eyes. Open your eyes into your hands. And then come back into the room. Mm-hmm. So hopefully we'll all feel a little more calm now, relaxed.
Oh, that was wonderful.
Oh, thank you.
Really beautiful way to start.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, just you don't realize how your shoulders are up around your ears, right? I mean, it's just wow. I feel so totally grounded. That was beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I think we just need to learn how to come from our heart and just tap into our bodies, because oftentimes we're thinking, intense, and we're not really connecting in. So it's a nice way to start.
Yeah, and a nice, quick meditation for that was really wonderful. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Well, I'm excited to share this with you.
Alrighty.
Yay! So
can't wait. Let's get started.
All right. So sleep your way to better health and well-being with Feng Shui. And I wanted to start with my story, just so you all know kind of how I got into this and why Feng Shui. And it goes way back when I was a little girl. I always loved to be in nature. Feng Shui is all about nature. And I was either playing in the backyard in the woods with my best friend Susan, who we used to create paths in the woods. Her father would help us kind of cut down branches and things, and we'd rake mulch, and we'd plant trees and flowers. And I just felt so connected when I was out there, and just felt really close to God and just nature. And or I'd be playing in my creek in the backyard. We had a big creek, and we would move rocks around or get the leaves out of it, or we would float boats down the creek, and just love being outside.
Yeah.
And then I also absolutely loved to move my furniture around in my room. I don't know how many of you have ever done that as a kid, but that was one of my favorite pastimes. I just was constantly moving my furniture around in the room, and my mother never knew what to expect. She would open the door. She's like, "What did you do now?" And I would always arrange my bookcases and my little trinkets, and everything had to be just so. When the cleaning person would come in and kind of pick things up and clean it and then put it in the wrong spot, it drove me crazy. And I was always really very much in tune to an environment and how it felt. Even as a really young kid, I remember going to some of my friends' homes, and if their house was kind of dark and depressing, I didn't want to be there. And I would just say, "Do you want to go outside, or do you want to come to my house?" And I just was really, I guess, sensitive to environments. And so I think I was doing interior design and Feng Shui way before I even knew what it was.
Right. Sounds like it.
Yeah. So, and it's funny, the way you grew up, you think everyone else, well, didn't you do that too? Wasn't that how you felt? And you find out people, no, I didn't exactly feel that way. And, and so then I ended up getting into interior design. And in 1990, 2 years after I graduated, I started my own business, and I also got married. And so it was a really, there we are. We looked so young back then. My husband was so helpful for me. He had his own business, but when I started my business, he was very helpful in helping me do all my furniture deliveries and my window installations.
Really? Nice.
Delivered our furniture, and we were totally hands-on, and I used to call my business my baby, because I just spent all my time thinking about it and nurturing it and growing it. And people kept saying, "When are you going to have kids?" And we're just like, "No, we're not ready yet. We're not ready." And so then 8 years later, we had our first child, and that's Miles right there. And it was great because I found an intern that worked in my office and took care of him while I was working when I was out. So I was able to continue to build my business, and it just grew and became very successful. And I just loved every bit of it. And then about 2.5 years later is when my life took a huge turn. And it was after the birth of my second child. And I had experienced a very challenging pregnancy, and then a very, very challenging birth. And the doctor was very cold, and she announced that we had a girl when she was born, and she said she's missing 2 fingers on her left hand. Sometimes these anomalies come in pairs, and then she just walked away.
Wow.
And yeah, it was
Wow.
it was really it was just such a strange ordeal, and we were left thinking there was something else wrong with her, and we went from this complete high to this complete low.
Yeah.
And it was really, really hard. And as it turns out, nothing was wrong with her, thankfully. And she's turned out to be an incredible girl. But it was challenging for me afterwards, and just dealing with all the stress and the anxiety of just everything that had happened, and worries about how she was going to be treated, and just all sorts of things.
Of course, yes.
Come up. Yeah. Your emotions and hormones are going all over the place. And about 7 months after she was born, I started just in this period of terrible insomnia. I had given up my business because I just couldn't keep it going. And it just triggered this huge depression that I just felt as though darkness had taken over. And as it turns out, it was something called postpartum OCD, and that's in the form of terrible, terrible thoughts. And I didn't know what it was. I didn't think I could have postpartum 7 months after a child was born, but I was weaning at the time. And so anyway, I kept it all in, which made it worse. And just everything just got darker and darker. And it was really just this fact that I couldn't sleep. I couldn't seem to get grounded, and I couldn't think clearly. And I was exhausted and just frightened and anxious. And little did I know that this postpartum spurred on a series of depressions with the same type of issues, with insomnia and anxiety for the next 15 years of my life.
Oh, wow.
And I'm glad I didn't know that at that time, because I don't think yeah, it's tough. But
wow.
I just felt as though I just pulled away from my husband. I was just trying to, get my grounds and do the best I could to parent my kids, but just having to give up my business. And just so many things were deteriorating. My health deteriorated. And the doctors just wanted to put me on medicine. That was the answer. Just take this pill, take this pill, take this pill.
Right.
And I refused at first because I felt like a pill is not the answer. I've got to find out, what's wrong with me. And but I finally took them because I was so desperate. I was just, feeling terrible. And but I just decided that I would climb the highest mountain to get myself back. And I just opened my world to all sorts of healing modalities and things I would have never even considered had I not been in such terrible shape. And I did things like transcendental meditation, to Qigong, to Reiki, to past life regression, to hypnotherapy, and just, so many things. I could go on for probably 5 minutes. And this eventually led me to Feng Shui. So it's interesting. I started working again on and off, and I would kind of feel better, and then I would work, and then I would hit a point and I would crash, and I would just go back down again, and then I would work my way back up. So it was just this really long process. But Feng Shui was something that I thought was I didn't understand it, and I kept kind of poo-pooing it, thinking it was kind of woo-woo, even though everything that I'd been doing was quite woo-woo at the time. And so I had met a local mentor in the area, and I was telling her about Feng Shui. I said, this keeps kind of coming up for me. And she said, oh, I have a wonderful person in the area, and if you're interested, you really should talk to her. So I did, and then I had her come do a consultation for me. And it was so amazing. I just couldn't believe how she was able to come into this house and see what was going on with her Feng Shui eyes, how the house was decorated, and how there was kind of imbalances going on, and how it was totally reflecting my inside and what was going on with me. And it was like I was putting that out into my home, and so that was coming forth in the colors I selected and other things, and also the home was feeding it back to me. And so she she basically had me make some adjustments. And when I did, I immediately felt this shift, like, oh, wow, that makes so much sense. Wow, that feels so much better. And then I started to think, gosh, I feel more in control. Like I was, and I think that's the biggest thing is when you go through these situations, you feel so out of control.
Right. Yeah.
You can't control anything. And so it was a way for me to see, wow, this really is a lot more than I thought it was. And so I started mentoring with her, and then I went on to teach or to learn with other masters out in California. I've learned black hat feng shui and classical feng shui and dowsing. And so now I'm full-blown interior design and feng shui, just mixing the two. They just merge together so well. I mean, I do feng shui, or I do interior design, or I kind of do both. But there is kind of no separation in a sense. They just go so well together. And everything in my life has improved significantly. I'm sleeping wonderfully, no more insomnia. No more depression, no more anxiety. That's just gone. And, my relationships have greatly improved, and my business has improved. And so I just feel like feng shui has become a lifestyle. And if I can help someone with the knowledge that I have, then I'm just really, makes me feel so good to be able to help. And sometimes it's just a really small thing that can make a big difference for people. So I'm glad to share.
Thanks for sharing that. That's really inspiring and hopeful.
Oh, thank you.
And interesting that I can't wait to, just what, thinking about what could have been changed in the house that creates such a different energy flow. That's just it's fascinating.
Yeah. It's really amazing.
And people wouldn't think about that. I think we tend to internalize, say, what's wrong with me? What do I have to change?
Exactly.
It's a really a hamster wheel kind of a.
It really is
depression when you're talking about those things. Yeah.
Yeah. Depression can be so many layers to it, and I grew up Christian and never even thought about anything like past lives or anything like that. And or karma, didn't understand any of that. And I've just opened up to all sorts of different ideas about life in general. And so through all of this experience, I feel like I had to work through a lot of stuff that perhaps I chose to work through in this particular lifetime. And I think, like this next slide is showing that sometimes that really dark period in our lives can lead us to the biggest opportunities and lead you into the light, and lead you into the biggest growth that we're really meant to share with the world. And so, it's and sometimes,
it's profound.
So
your daughter, she's beautiful.
Yes, and I always want to give her kudos for. I tell people that she's brought me into my life's purpose. For the opportunity that we had together in this postpartum, and that I'm just so grateful to her for everything. So
sure,
yeah. Okay, so let's get started.
Alrighty.
All right. So in this workshop, you are going to learn how the arrangement of your environment can enhance or detract from your health and well-being, how to avoid the major causes that block healthy energy in your bedroom, understand the power of color to enhance a good night's sleep, and create a new mindset around your well-being. So I just wanted to go a little bit into Feng Shui because I'm not sure if everyone knows what Feng Shui is, so I just kind of wanted to touch on it. It's a Chinese art and science of arranging and shifting energy in our living environments to capture flow and create harmony with the natural forces of nature, working with the unseen and the seen. So the seen is, a lot of times people think that Feng Shui is just about arranging your furniture or about colors or things like that. And there is just so much more that goes to it. It's also a lot of unseen energy. And there's a major science to Feng Shui, which I found really fascinating. So Feng means wind and Shui means water. So it's about the flow of energy within the universe and the movement and flow of harnessing good energy, or chi. So chi is just energy. It's the life force prana that we breathe, that's in everything. Energy is everywhere, in everything. So it's about gathering the water and dispersing the wind. And where it flows freely, there's health and abundance. And where it's stagnant, there's sickness and decay. Yeah, so it's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
And your home has its own unique energetic blueprint. I just wanted to touch on this a little bit. This is a picture of our house being built back in, like 14 years ago. And had I known what I know now, I would have really made some significant tweaks to the home. It's amazing what I've learned in the meantime. And so basically, the science of Feng Shui is that there's your house. You can understand the energy that your house has, and it's unique to it by looking at the magnetic direction that the front door faces, and where the year that it was built. And so when the home is open to the environment, like it is here on the left-hand side, it's still out in nature. It's still exposed. It's not encapsulated. But when the roof goes on, then the energies that are within the home become kind of its blueprint. It's like having a birth date, in other words. And so the home can, through mathematical algorithms and things that we look at, we can see if the home is supportive for relationships and health, or finances, and if it's supportive for those things or not. And every home has wonderful supportive things, and every home has things that aren't as supportive. So in Feng Shui, we use the elements to kind of balance those things that need balancing. So we call them cures. If there's an energy in the home that is not supportive for finances or for health and relationships, then we bring a cure in. So that might be like a water fountain or a fire element or something like that. And if we've got great energy, then we enhance it with elements as well. So it goes really, really deep. And I just wanted to touch on that just to let people know.
Interesting. Yeah. Very interesting.
So 3 Feng Shui major mistakes in the bedroom that impedes good sleep. And these are just things that I've seen. Too much clutter in the room. I've had clients with things under their beds like guns. I feel like I've seen it all.
I mean, where else do you keep your gun?
Yeah, right. I know. It helps you sleep well. No, maybe for some people it does because they feel safe. So it's all relative. But yeah, I've seen people with their bills under their bed, which somehow I don't think that's the best thing. And I've had a client with skis under their bed, so it's a very, like active type of thing.
Right. Exercise equipment.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
For being in bedrooms.
Yes, absolutely. Badly designed architecture, furniture floor plans that aren't designed well, decor placement and color selection are other things that kind of can impede good sleep. And I'll go into further details as we go along. And having the bed on the wrong wall is another one, another biggie as well. And there's many, but I just kind of picked out 3 of them. So the tip number 1 is position the bed with care. So here's a good example of having a bed in a good direction where the door is here and it's on an opposite wall or it's on a perpendicular wall. So you can see who's coming in while you're lying in bed and you're not twisting your body. And this ensures a clear line of sight from the bed to the door. And the further away the bed is from the door, sorry about that, the more in control and safe you feel. So if the bed's pretty close to the door, you don't feel as safe and in control as a bed that's further away. So it's kind of like the power position type of thing.
Right.
That has the greatest view of the whole room type of thing.
I read it one time, if you don't mind, about the bed position, that the
Yeah.
wife, coming back from in ancient Chinese, the wife was slept closest to the door, right? Right,
Yeah,
because if
yeah,
an attacker came,
yeah.
they would get the wife first, and the husband was spared. I don't know if
Oh
that's.
gosh,
I read that somewhere in a
so
feng shui book.
interesting.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
really
I thought that was
interesting.
protect the husband.
Yeah, protect the husband, or maybe the husband is in the power position, so he can then have more control over the intruder. Who knows?
Yes,
But
maybe. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
let's hope it's the latter.
Right, right. I think it had to do with, at the time the husband
The
was
time,
the kind of
yeah.
the ruler, and whatever, he was the king, and that sort of stuff.
Yes. Well, that makes sense. It totally
Yeah,
makes
yeah.
sense. Yep. Yep. Um, yeah. So, and here's bed positions that are the ones that aren't so great is where you have the bed on the same wall as the door, because you have to basically twist your body to see who's coming in. It's also, both of these beds are right up against the wall, so it doesn't allow the chi to flow around the bed, and it actually affects your etheric field when you're kind of close to something. Your energy is just not flowing as well. Um, and then also positioning the bed in direct alignment with the door right here, because that just the chi just flows right in, so you kind of feel vulnerable in a sense. And here's an idea of how that feels. This has double doors with the bed just straight ahead, but in this case, what they've done is they've added a bench at the end of the bed just to kind of slow things down a little bit. And
Okay.
there's actually a chandelier here. I would suggest maybe hanging a crystal just so that when the chi comes in, it just allows it to disperse a little rather than feeling like it's like the energy is on a railroad track, just moving really fast towards you. You just want to slow the chi down. And I never want anyone to feel worried. Oh my gosh, that's the only place I can put my bed. Well, there's always something you can do about it. You can even put
Hmm.
a round rug down below. Oops, sorry about that. It's being a
Hmm.
little funky now. Um, Technology, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
um, so yeah, you can use a round rug. The round energy really kind of slows things down as well.
So interesting.
Yeah. Now, if your bed is on the same wall as the door, you can use a mirror opposite the door so that you can see who's coming in. And just recommend that the mirror doesn't reflect the bed so much because I'm going to get more in detail about that. But mirrors in bedrooms can be used for remedies, but we don't want to overdo mirrors because they're not always the best thing to have in a bedroom. So, but in this case, it's a great way to be able to see who's coming into the room, and therefore you have a remedy. And then we want to avoid windows behind beds if possible. And in this case, this headboard is really low, and the windows look, they're very light window treatments. So you feel like you have no privacy and no
Mm.
protection. So it's really about being safe, about
Right.
having
Yeah.
that safe feeling. Because otherwise you have kind of a fight or flight kind of feeling going on,
Mm.
and that can keep you up. That can make your sleep worse.
Right.
And in this case, what I'd recommend is a tall headboard and probably using kind of like heavy drapes to close at nighttime so that you just feel more protected. And then you've done what you can do to really help that
Hmm.
situation. And it's interesting that the White House has windows behind the president in the Oval Office. And I've always heard how that's not good feng shui because it
Oh,
doesn't
right.
doesn't
Yeah.
keep him.
He's so exposed.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Interesting.
Wow.
We also want to avoid placing the bed on the wall with plumbing on the other side. And I just love this photo because it makes it so clear that you can really
Right.
see.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks kind of mod and fun, but really not the best energy because um, any bathroom energy is very draining, and it drains heavy energy and negative energy, but it also drains healthy energy as well. And to have your headboard right up against a drain is draining your
It's
energy.
very,
Yeah.
yeah. Hmm.
And so the cure for this would be to use a mirror and you can place the reflective side of the mirror facing the wall towards the bathroom, just to push that draining energy back away. So that's the cure for that.
Are you saying you would put the mirror would go in the bedroom area?
Yeah, it would actually go right behind the headboard.
Oh, okay.
So behind the bed,
Uh-huh.
and just directing that energy, right, the reflective side back towards the bathroom. So that's how
Okay.
that goes. Does
Uh-huh.
that make sense?
Yeah, yes, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Um, so this is showing a Lopan compass and a Lohan compass, and we want to avoid bed placement on temple lines and empty lines. And I'll explain this. These are degrees on the compass that are associated with a tendency to feel scattered, or with an inability to attain goals, or it can affect sleep as well. And so I took a picture of my compass, and temple lines are the directions that are due north, east, south, and west. Okay, so it's like 0, 90, 180, and 270.
Okay.
And so that's kind of where the A, the G, the M, and the S is. And we have empty lines are between the 24 mountains. So we call we call these sections, like within north we have X, A, and B, and those are 3 mountains. So within each direction you have 3 mountains, and so between each mountain they're 15 degrees apart. And so at 7.5, I don't know if you can see that to the right of A, is between mountain A and mountain B. Mm-hmm. So that would be where one of the empty lines lies. And then every 15 degrees from there, 22.5, 37.5, 52.5, those are empty lines. So we want to avoid placing our bed on these lines. And what you do is you take a compass and you stand right at the foot of your bed, and you can find out what the compass direction is. Usually the compasses have numbers on them. And then if you're in a temple line or on a temple line or an empty line, you can shift your bed just like by an inch. So you can take the headboard or the footboard and just slightly angle your bed just by an inch or so, and that'll take you off of those lines.
Wow.
So that's kind of an interesting feng shui.
Yeah, sure is. Yeah.
Secret. So just there's lots of little things, little details that can make a difference.
Would that have to do with the electrical lines or fault lines or anything?
It's more with the magnetic lines, and I'm not so much electric or fault. It doesn't have to do with that. It's just there energies within degrees.
Okay.
That really, I don't know how to explain it other than that.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So they say that having a church on a temple line is great because it's very quieting.
Wow.
But if you have a business on a temple line, that's not so great because it doesn't really bring in the kind of energy that you're looking for.
Oh, interesting. Wow.
So it's like a temple line at 0 would probably be a place where you could meditate. So you wouldn't feel scattered. You'd just be very calm. And but if you're doing active yang type of stuff, then you want to stay off those temple lines for businesses. And there's all sorts of ways to tweak that as well. You don't have to move the building. There's all sorts of different things to do with that as well. So
okay, that's very interesting.
Yeah. And then the importance of your best personal direction. Each one of us has our best personal direction based on our birth date. So if we know what your birth date is, then we can find the way that where you would have 4 best personal directions. And it's a way to use these directions to create better energy flow in your environment. So you have a best personal direction to face for health, for success, for relationships, and for wisdom. And when you know what they are, you can really use them on an everyday basis when you're working, when you're meditating, when you're eating. So it would be, for instance, my best personal directions I'm in the West group. There's an East group and a West group. For me, my success direction, I'm facing it right now because whenever I'm working and I'm doing this webinar, I want to be receiving the beautiful success energy that is conducive for me, and that's the Northwest. So when we talk about it for our sleep and for our health, what we want to do is place your bed on the wall of one of your best directions. And you would have your crown of your head facing that direction. So kind of the back of your bed would be facing one of those good directions. And if possible, if you can choose a bedroom in one of your best directions, like if you took your whole house and you broke it down into sections, you could see, okay, my best direction is in the West. Is there a bedroom in the West that I could put my bed that also would help? And I'm going to be giving you all a gift of your best personal directions. At the end of the webinar, I'll have a URL that you can write down so that way you know what your best personal direction is.
Oh, great.
Yeah, because I think it's really, really helpful for people because people are often saying, well, what's the best direction to sleep? And there isn't one best direction. Actually, you can use one of the 4 directions, but each person is different. So it really depends on your birth date. And so that's something I'd like to share with all of you so that you'll have that.
Oh, that's nice. That'll be great.
Yeah, good. And then we can activate your health directions. So one way to really enhance your health is to create an activation card with intentions. So it's kind of like writing affirmations for your health, and you can place it in your personal health direction in your bedroom. So the best way to do it is to kind of have a compass, and you can even use the compass on your iPhone now. There's apps, and I think there's free compasses on smartphones. And stand in the middle of your room, and then once you know what your best directions are, you can see, okay, the north's over here. That's one of my best directions. So you can write a card, an affirmation about the great sleep that you're getting, the vibrancy you feel in your body, how you're just feeling so young and vibrant and healthy, whatever it is. And you can place it in that direction. You can put it on the wall if you want to. You could put it behind a picture. You could put it in an envelope and stick it in a cabinet. But just really utilizing those directions can be a really powerful way to just let the universe work for you. So you're really working with your environment and you're working with the directions. It's really powerful.
Wow.
And then in the East, you can place something with the color emerald green. The East is about health, and emerald green is the frequency of healing. So that could be anything. It could be a pillow that's an emerald green, or it could be a little crystal or a picture or something. And by placing it in the East, you can treat your whole house. So you can find the East part of your home and then put something in the East area of your home. Or you can go to the microcosm and go into your bedroom once again and find the East direction and just place something in the East in your bedroom. So it's usually what we like to do is place things in rooms where you spend a significant amount of time. So the bedroom, we spend a third of our lives in there. So when we do activations and cures, we really want to really focus on your bedroom, your office, and maybe like a family room where you spend a lot of time. So when I'm giving suggestions for placing things, just think about it in those terms. So you can also place something that symbolically represents health. And that could be a picture of you when you were feeling, really great, or someone that you really look up to that's, a yogi that's doing an amazing yogi pose, or just whatever it is that represents health for you. And you can place that in the center of your home as well, or the center of your room, because the center is where all the elements come together. So it represents the balance of all the elements. And you can also activate the East, which is the general health direction, and then your personal health direction. And then another tip is always close your bathroom door to keep higher level energy from flushing away. Because, as I said, bathrooms have very draining energy and flushing energy, and it's really best to keep those doors shut. So the impact of design in furniture. In Feng Shui, we talk about poison arrows, and in this particular case, there is I'm going to use my mouse, but sometimes when I use the mouse, it ends up moving. Here we go. Moving to the next slide. So here's a poison arrow right here. It's a very sharp angle, a 90-degree angle that's directed right at the bed. And then we have another one here on the nightstand that's directed right at the person who's sleeping in the bed. And now if this nightstand was lower, it'd be hitting the mattress, so it really wouldn't be affecting the person. But I've seen this a lot with nightstands, that they're up kind of high. And you don't think about that, but my husband and I were just in High Point, North Carolina, at the furnishings show. And I was looking, I'm now looking at everything with Feng Shui eyes that I never used to even think about. And I was looking at an example between something really pointy and then something very rounded, and you could really feel the difference. Now, with this wall area where that closet door is, you could put like a plant at the very top and have it like ivy, almost like it's coming down and softening that corner. The nightstand, you could put a tablecloth on it just to soften it a bit. So that's ways to work with poison arrows. They represent danger. So they actually do put pressure on, once again, on kind of the etheric field of the person. In this bedroom, we also have a fireplace, which is a very active yang energy, and it kind of burns up healthy qi. So what I would recommend here is maybe putting a screen over that just to soften it, or maybe having some crystals down below on the hearth, because we add earth energy to kind of soak up the fire energy. Put earth on top of fire to damp it out. So that's a way to work with a remedy to just slow that energy down. And then, of course, we have the windows in the back once again, where someone could just kind of sneak in. So that the room has, and you have a TV in there. There's all sorts. You've got beams. There's all sorts of things going on in this bedroom. That's not the best. It's
very
bedroom.
Pretty to look at, but pointing all this stuff out is so interesting.
Right. It's just becoming conscious of your environment and how it's enhancing or detracting from your health.
And the good news, there's solutions.
There's always solutions. Absolutely. So furniture do shapes. You can feel the difference in this, can't you? It feels like, and just that it just doesn't have those sharp corners. And in nature, everything really has rounded corners. Everything meanders. When chi meanders, that's how things flow. In architecture, we have all these 90-degree angles. We have lots of points. And so we just kind of need to be cognizant of that. In my home, I have on my drywall, on the corners, we have a rounded bead. So it's really nice. We don't have any sharp edges on any of our corners. It's like a rounded.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a really nice feature. I really enjoy that. And if you think about being in a plane and looking down at the mountains and kind of the waterways and the way that the sand deposits itself through the winds, you can see that meandering pattern. You don't see sharp, straight lines.
Right. Yeah.
Makes
sense.
It does. And speaking of sharp, straight lines, the pressure of ceiling beams is yet another one. The beams put stress downward on the person below, and depending on where they're landing on the body, like if it's going across your abdomen, you could have problems in that area. If you've got beams that are running, separating the bed in half with two people in the bed, it can definitely cause separation between. It can cause some disruption between the two people. There's been many cases where people have separated because of these beams that are just separating them. Yeah, so
they have no idea that that's what's happening.
Yeah, and and sometimes we choose certain homes for certain reasons without really knowing it. And so when you become aware, and you really want to make a difference, or you want to make something work, you can kind of look at your environment and say, is this helping me, or is this
Right. Yeah.
detracting? And then we have the slanted ceiling also that really puts a lot of pressure down onto the person sleeping on the bed, and it feels like there's a lot of energy there, which is really not great, and all those beams as well. So that
So the
wouldn't be.
slant is a problem also, Kristin?
Yeah, the slant's a problem just because you've got all this energy moving diagonally down towards you. We
Is
don't.
that just a problem in bedrooms, or
Well,
if
yeah, I
there
mean,
are vaulted ceilings in other rooms of the houses? Is that okay?
well, it just depends on how much time you're spending there. I mean, if
Mm-hmm.
you're just walking by or you sit there occasionally, but when you're spending significant amounts of hours in a like in a room that has a really low ceiling or a slanted ceiling that's coming down towards you, it just puts pressure on your energy field. It doesn't feel good if you think about it and you close your eyes and imagine something coming down towards you. It doesn't support you.
Okay.
And so it's just something to be cognizant of.
Okay.
The remedies for beams. This is kind of really foo-foo looking, but
Very pretty.
it's pretty. I mean, you can. It's not for everyone, but you can hide beams with canopies over a bed. You can put something on the ceiling. You really want it to be opaque fabric so you can't see it. You can drive all over them or paint the beams the same color as the ceiling. And not all beams are treated the same because big, thick, heavy beams in kind of a low ceiling are going to have more of an impact on you than if the ceiling's really high. You won't feel that as much. And if they kind of blend in with the ceiling, it won't impact you as much, if that makes sense.
I hear lots of people groaning right now because because Chip and Joanna from Fixer Upper
Yeah.
they're in love with beams, and
Oh, I
beams
know.
are big now. People are putting
Yeah.
beams everywhere. So
Oh, I know. I mean, I believe me, I grew up in the design industry and thought it was the greatest thing ever. And the thing is, I always say, if it's not broke, don't fix it. So I never
right,
want to stress anyone out. Like if everything's going great, then and you're sleeping under a beam, then fine.
right,
And but just be aware that if something seems to be off and you're feeling they can cause headaches, physical issues, things like that. You might think, maybe I need to just paint this beam a color that's similar
right.
to the ceiling, or whitewash it or something, or
Yeah.
gray wash it just to
Hmm.
soften it.
Yeah.
I've suggested that a lot for people where they don't want to get rid of their beams, but just to soften it so it's more blendy makes a difference. And
Okay.
yeah,
Glad to
so
hear that.
yeah. um, so bed styles, we want to stay away from metal frames. They don't offer the same type of support. Metal is a very intense energy, and this one has a very active yang energy to it with all the scroll and the movements, and it's not solid. So there's a lot, you can see through it. It doesn't give you that same support as, say, something like a wood headboard would, or an upholstered headboard. And you want something that has a lot of strength and support behind you, but something that doesn't have a lot of active energy. And so in this case, the one on the right also shows being in front of a window, but you feel kind of safe because that headboard is so solid. So
Right.
it's like
They
someone's
have
got your
that
back.
nice rounded night
Yes.
table.
Yeah, you're picking up on
Yep, yep,
it.
yep.
So the third tip is declutter and space clear.
Mm.
We were just talking about
Wow.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of my
So
favorite things to do, declutter.
I know. Yeah. So what does this room say to you? It just reminds me of someone that's really scattered and hurried and maybe depressed, maybe
Yeah.
overweight, just always late.
Yeah.
And it reflects what's going on the inside. And I know for sure that when I was experiencing a lot of issues with the insomnia, I was really depressed. my room, I could just look around my environment and it reflected exactly how I was feeling. Um, and it just, uh, it just is an outward representation of what goes on, and it creates stagnancy. It blocks healthy chi. Um, it generates feelings of overwhelm, depression, guilt, anxiety. It's a matrix of negative energy that keeps you stuck. It keeps you stuck in the past and keeps you stuck from moving forward. And we could go on about clutter forever, but it's such a biggie. I mean, it's amazing. I had a client with just amazing amounts of clutter, almost probably a hoarder, I would say. And
Really?
yeah, and there was pills, like empty pill containers, and just anything you could possibly imagine all over the nightstands. All the drawers were so stuffed that they couldn't even shut them. It was just debris and dirt and grime everywhere, and their health was not good. They weren't sleeping well. It was such an obvious thing, and yet, they were living in it, probably maybe oblivious to how it was really affecting them.
Right.
And so I ended up recommending someone who works with hoarders, and I think they really made some significant changes, which was good.
Yeah.
So we want to avoid clutter on our surfaces, on all surfaces, but especially the nightstands, because they are the closest to you when you're sleeping. So anything that's closest to you has the most impact on you. And so that's your nightstands, that's your desk, that's places where you spend a lot of time. But books have a lot of energy in them, and they definitely can affect your energy field. And so I just suggest trying to keep it, a couple books on your nightstand, maybe something that has an image or words that are really refreshing, just relaxing. So the last thing you see before you go to bed is just, I have a meditate. I think I have a little quick ways to meditate or something to distress and relax on my nightstand. And I don't really even read it so much anymore, but it makes me feel good knowing that it's there.
Yeah.
Yep. And so we want to remove clutter from under our bed. It blocks the healthy chi from moving around your room. And, in some cases, people have very small apartments or things, and they have to utilize the space under their bed. But I just suggest that they put things that are bed related, like sheets and blankets, underneath the bed. And
you mean not that cactus?
Not the cactus. I was just going to point that out. And what does that have? It has poison arrows on it. So yeah, so that was I love that picture. I was like, I've got to use that one. That's great. So you don't want to leave your bed like this. An unmade bed produces a sense of disorder and may remind you of a previous night's struggle with sleep. It also suggests you were too tired to make your bed. And I know many times when I was really feeling awful, I almost had it was just like a terrible love-hate relationship with my bedroom, because I just was struggling so much. And when I saw my room like this, when I'd come back to bed, it would immediately make me feel like, oh my God, I don't want to do this again. I don't want to experience that kind of bad sleep. So even if if you're sleeping well, you really want to make your bed, because it creates order and balance, and it shows the universe that you're ready for a fresh new day, and you're starting it off right. And you always need to make your bed with a smile on your face, just like this lady.
Oh, okay.
Okay. But it does make you feel good when you walk back into your bed.
I cannot leave the house without my bed made. There's no
really?
way.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, I couldn't do it.
Isn't
It's the way to start my day.
Yes. Well, that's a good habit to have. And then space clear your bedroom. Space clearing is just clearing the energy in the room. So we've already talked about clutter clearing, but this is really about the energy. So anything porous absorbs energy. So walls, bedding, flooring, books, furniture. And if you've had a stressful day and you've been feeling anxious while you're lying in bed, or you're thinking over the stuff you have to do tomorrow, or you've had a nightmare, or you've been sick, or you've had an argument in your bedroom, that stuff kind of lingers. It hangs around, and you really want to kind of clear that energy field. It really kind of starts things fresh. And my husband and I were just, like I said, we went to the High Point Market, and we were in a hotel room that was less than desirable because I booked it very late, and I could smell smoke in the room, and it was, things weren't, the sink wasn't working right. The toilet was kind of running constantly. It was just one of those rooms. And I brought my diffuser of essential oils, and I brought my sage with me, and just cleared the whole space before we, settled in, and just set the intention that all the energy was going to be cleared. And then when we left, we thanked the room, and we said, "Thank you, room. We love you." And so we cleared the space for the next person, and it made me feel good.
Yeah,
it's kind of
very nice.
But so there's lots of different ways to space clear. You can use bells, you can use tinshings, you can use singing bowl, smudging, you can spray, essential oil mixes. There's just so many different ways of doing it. And I work with clients a lot in clearing their whole homes. So there's all sorts of different levels to this, but anyone can do this. It's very, very simple. So tip number 4, we want to remove the yang objects in your bedroom. Be mindful of everything that you bring into your bedroom. And the bedroom is an area that's very yin. So it's all about being passive and nighttime and quieting and receptive. And so it's not a yang area. It's not a place to bring lots of loud things or exercise equipment or stuff like that. It's a place where you want to leave all the stresses away. And distractions. It's your sanctuary. You want to keep stressful conversations out, work, computers, cell phones, television, exercise equipment. And it's a place for a good night's rest and quiet and darkness, and a place for intimacy. So I think sometimes we need to be reminded of that. So here's just examples of what to avoid. Exercise equipment that makes us feel like guilty that we haven't exercised, or it's the last thing you see before you go to bed. And then also things that hang over the bed, like big heavy fans and big lights. I'm seeing a lot of that now, and we just want to avoid them hanging directly over the bed. We want them to be more kind of towards the center of the room, because it's that feeling that what if that thing falls on me?
Right, sure.
So we want to be careful of that. If you have things in your bedroom that, office, or you have to multitask, then just find dividers or screens that you can separate them so that you don't see them while you're sleeping. And I love this example of the room on the right with the white draperies, because it kind of blends in with the ceiling and the walls. And during the night, you can close it off, and during the day, you can open it up. So there's lots of creative ways of kind of blocking off things. And then we want to avoid live plants and water features. Live plants they're yang. They're all about upward moving and growth. This is something that I didn't know until I studied Feng Shui. So we recommend using silk plants, never dried plants, because dried plants have like dead energy, but silk is absolutely fine. And then if you have any type of photos with water features or water images, you want to avoid those, because water can really create a lot of emotion. It can also disrupt sleep. So it's kind of better to leave water images out. We use water as a cure in Feng Shui, but we don't bring live water or water images into the bedroom. We just use the color blue. So that's another point here.
Interesting. Wow.
Yeah. And we want to avoid large mirrors in the bedroom that reflect the bed. Because they, once again, are yang energy, and they can startle a waking person. If you wake up and you look in the mirror, it can be startling. Is that what I look like?
Not the first thing you want to see in the morning.
No. They bounce energy around the room. It can scatter a person's energy field, and it can actually double health issues and create loneliness. So if you think about, like, it doubles everything. It magnifies.
Oh, right.
So if you're not feeling well or whatnot, and you've got a big mirror across from your bed, think about it like that. So just be careful about your mirror placement, and try to have them maybe not huge, and just smaller and not reflecting the bed. I don't have any mirrors in my bedroom. I just kind of keep them out altogether.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to avoid bringing work into the bedroom. That's kind of a no-brainer, but I think a lot of people still do that.
Right.
And avoid TVs in the bedroom because it's not your entertainment room. This one looks like a movie theater.
Yeah, it sure does.
But if a lot of clients don't, they still really want their TVs, and sometimes they're not willing to let it go. So just try to hide it in an
Mm-hmm.
armoire, or there's this neat sliding artwork that
I love that. That's a
isn't that
great idea.
great?
That is fantastic.
I
Yeah.
love that idea too, because
Yeah.
I definitely don't like to see TVs, but sometimes it's nice to have. So. And then we want to block out the light and the noise. So blackout shades are wonderful. Eye masks are great. Earplugs work fantastically for those partners that are snoring. That I know a lot of people don't sleep well because of the snoring. And
Mm-hmm.
I've used all of these things, and it's helped me out tremendously. And exposure to room light during sleep has been shown to decrease melatonin by more than 50%. Even the glow of a digital alarm clock can just make sleep more elusive. So it's it can affect some people a lot more than others. And then pets in the bedroom,
What the heck is that? A goat?
I don't know what
What
it
kind
is.
of animal that
It's huge. So, some people just have to have their pet in the bedroom, but it can be disruptive and mess your sleep up. And you just don't want that many animals in your bed either. I had to throw that slide in.
is? Yeah, too many.
So ridding your bedroom of EMFs and other harmful energies. So the blue light from the electronics, we were just kind of talking about this with the alarm clock, can keep your brain awake. And it mimics daylight, and it can trick your body into thinking it's daytime. And it releases cortisol. And you can see how white this light is on this man's face. And Kelvin temperatures are interesting. This is more food for thought, but candlelight is 1700 Kelvin. Lighting from dusk to dawn is about 3400 Kelvin. So it goes up, it gets warmer or higher. Sunny day at noon is 5700 Kelvin. And then the average computer is 6500 Kelvin. So it's really, they're finding more studies with LED and blue light, how it's really not a healthy type of light. So I recommend Flux app for computers, and it automatically, anyone can, if you just Google that f.lux app, you can install it on your computer, and it creates more of an amber type color as the lighting goes down throughout the day.
Oh, really?
And yeah, it's wonderful. It's really great. And then you can also use the night shift setting on your smartphone as well. So those are some tricks to helping you, and really stop using these things like about an hour before you go to bed.
Right, yeah.
And we want to avoid EMFs polluting your bedroom. So say no to water beds and electric blankets because they wrap your body in an unnatural energy field. And your mattress can also act as an antenna. There's been scientific studies showing that metal coils in a box spring can pick up kind of FM and TV radiation. So it can affect people's sleep because it becomes kind of magnetized. So that's been kind of interesting and something to be careful of. And then this just gives examples of just all the things that we have in our bedrooms, from clocks to phones to some people have their Wi-Fi repeaters right in their bedrooms. Baby monitors put out a lot of EMF, dimmers, all sorts of things. So we just have to be kind of aware and not charge our electronics in our bedroom.
Or right next to your head.
Right next to your head. People
on that square nightstand.
Yes. So I recommend just putting it in airplane mode, trying to keep it as far away as you can from yourself. And then you can also use a tri-field meter if you want to check your bedroom. I have one of these, and you can actually just go into your bedroom and lay on your bed and see if you're picking up any of the frequencies that are affecting you. And you can also turn off your circuit breaker at night. You can work with an electrician to just have a breaker that turns your bedroom off, and just turn your Wi-Fi off too. I think that's a great thing to do as well. Yeah. And then this is something that I do. I do dowsing. So I also check for earth energies that are stressful. There's all sorts of different things. And we can cure all these. You had mentioned like fault lines and things like that. So geopathic stress is energy that comes up from the earth where it becomes disrupted when two waterways cross, or there's polluted water, or there's a shift in soil. And so when that comes up, it's a kind of a jagged energy. And if your bed is right over top of that, then that can really create stress on your body. So that's something that I check for, and it's quite common. There's a lot of it in everyone, and I've seen it in everyone's homes. But if your bed happens to be on top of that, or maybe a desk where you sit every day, that can kind of drain your energy field. And then we have Hartman and Curry lines that we check for, and this is kind of part of the Earth's magnetic grid, and it's totally neutral until it runs into an electric field in your home. So Curry and Hartman lines run, I don't know, they range, but they can run like 6 feet wide apart to 11 feet apart. And if it happens to run into your home through an outlet, hit an outlet, or hit a refrigerator or freezer or whatnot, and then it's directed at your bed, that can also impact you. And it causes a negative energy. So we cure those. There's negative vortexes, and also various frequencies caused by technology, power lines, satellite dishes, radio towers, just all these things that they can be up to 50 miles away and still affect your home. And once they're kind of in, that energy's in your home, it kind of bounces around. So I found ways to really neutralize that. And that's always an added plus.
Yeah.
And so we want to monitor and purify air quality. And according to a WebMD study conducted in 2009, showed that indoor air in the typical American home contains over 500 chemicals. And paint often has a lot of VOC in it, and I always recommend paint that has no VOC. I've used this Harmony paint from Sherwin-Williams, and I love it.
Oh, nice.
And I shared with you that I like to put essential oils in my paint, and it doesn't affect the paint at all. You can put maybe half of a small bottle of paint into a whole can, and I do it for the smell at first. The smell goes away, but it's also just the vibrational frequency that I'm putting in there.
That's nice.
So it's a really nice way to energize your home and put some good vibes in. We want to be cautious of carpeting. There's a lot of adhesives and chemicals in carpeting, and plus it's hard to clean and it collects dust mites. So if possible, it's great to go with hardwood floor or cork or something natural where you're not collecting all that dust. And then bedding for sleep, if you can purchase organic bedding or organic mattresses. I was reading on Dr. Mercola's website, I love him, just about how most beds out there are made out of polyurethane foam, which is a petroleum product, and they're all treated with flame retardant chemicals that off gas. So if possible, opt for latex rubber mattresses or something organic. That's just another thing. And some people are a lot more sensitive to this than others. So once again, if it's not broken, don't worry about fixing, but I'm just throwing out a lot of different options and things that I've learned. You want to allow for fresh air and circulation. This study showed that air within homes and other buildings can be more seriously polluted than outdoor air, even in the largest and most industrialized cities. And I know some people say, well, the air is dirty out there, but it actually is dirtier inside. So we really need to open our windows and let the light in. And you can use oils to purify and even crystals. There's lots of different crystals. There's shungite that purifies the air and also helps with EMF. And there's many, many more, but that's just one that I'm
What
thinking
was
of.
it called? Shungite?
Shungite. I think it's Shungite. Just look that up. And you can even just Google like crystals that help with EMF or clear the air. There's just so many natural things out there.
Okay.
And beeswax candles and salt lamps also release negative ions that bind with toxins and remove them from the air. So that's another really big plus. I just use beeswax candles in my home. I don't use any paraffin candles at all.
Right.
You can use air purifiers and ionizers. And I'm moving quickly because I realized that we're already at 8:15. So I have just like 2 more tips, and then we'll be done.
Okay.
Is that okay?
That's fine.
I
Sure.
hope I'm not keeping anyone too late. So,
It's very interesting.
okay. So the importance and influence of color in a bedroom. We definitely want to avoid really harsh and bold colors. And these are in the fire family, and the fire element is very strong. It's very active, and it's all about alert, pay attention, and we don't really want that in our bedrooms. So that's the one element that we use that when we have to put a fire remedy in using the fire element. You can just use a very small amount of red, and it really is very powerful. It's just as powerful as the actual flame itself. So as far as creating cures and just the energy that you feel from it. And then we're going to choose a calming color for the bedroom. I've had people ask me, Kristin, what's the best color for a bedroom? And there is no one real answer, because each one of us has our likes and our dislikes. And when you get your best personal directions, it will also be tied into an element. So, for instance, I'm a metal element, so I tend to like a lot of metallic things. I like whites. I like grays, but I also like earthy tones because earth feeds metal. So it's about this productive cycle. So and my husband's a blue, he's a water element, so he tends to like blues. So, soft blues create soothing feelings. It's also, it's a matter of what kind of energy you want from the color too. So green enhances fertility, and it's a sense of renewal. That would be great for a wood element. The earthy tones are comforting and grounding, and the soft cream is fresh and clean feeling. And then you can also even look at the bagua of your house, which I've not even gone into, but that breaks each part of your house down in different directions. And if your house is in the, for instance, the southeast, that would be a wood element. So you might use a wood tone, like either a green color or a brown color, because brown is also part of the wood. So is earth tones. Earth has kind of a brown color as well. So there's just so many different ways, but we just want to stay away from those really bold colors that keep you up at night.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're almost done here. I just wanted to share some of my practicing self-care tips, because I've learned many over the years, and they've all helped me out in different ways. But dimming the lights as the sun sets is really important. It signals the body it's close to bedtime. Dr. Mercola talks a lot about wearing amber tinted blue blocking glasses after sunset. That also does the same thing as like the Flux does, but you don't have to change your equipment. You can just wear these glasses. So some people do that. I haven't done that, but there's been some studies on that they're really positive for your health.
I did see, I can tell you, Dr. Mercola does wear them. I was at the Truth About Cancer,
the
live event, and it was in the evening, and he was wearing those glasses.
Amazing. Yeah. I know. Yeah, he's really working.
Yeah.
It looks a little strange.
It looks a little strange, yeah, but he's a rock star, so he could pull it off.
Well, he's working with the circadian rhythm, the natural circadian rhythm of our bodies, and we just we work and we keep lights up and way past what our ancestors did. So we're not we're working kind of against our natural system. So it's something to really consider when things get out of whack. It's something to I gotta make some adjustments here.
Right.
And I have dimmers on every single one of my lights in my house. And I've seen a lot of clients over the years that just have no dimmer, just bright lights. And it's just jarring, and plus it doesn't make the environment feel very cozy either. Right, so I really recommend dimmers. Taking a hot bath or shower up to 90 minutes before bed also really helps to kind of ease you into nice sleep. Drinking warm milk or chamomile tea before bed. Doing restorative yoga poses, reading a book, preferably a light read or something spiritual. That's always helpful, definitely. Praying and meditating, journaling your concerns and intentions. I think that's always a great one to do, just to kind of get it out on paper
Yeah.
and out of your mind and on paper. I think is a
Right.
wonderful way.
Mm-hmm.
Writing and reciting a gratitude list. That's another really great way to turn things around quickly. It's really, really powerful. Using techniques such as EFT, deep breathing, or progressive muscle relaxation. And if anyone has any questions about any of this, they're more than I would love for them to call me or email me. Because I've really been through a lot of this stuff, so I've got some information I can share.
Right.
Keeping a pad of paper and a pen by the nightstand, so if you wake up with a racing mind, you can scribble it down, just get it off your mind.
Good idea.
Yep. Keeping the room temperature at 70 degrees or lower. You don't want to be too hot, and also you don't want to be too cold going to bed. I know that when my feet have been cold, it takes me so much longer to fall asleep. So wearing socks if your feet are really cold to bed is a great thing. Writing your affirmations of deep sleep and perfect health, and you can place under your mattress as well, which is a really nice thing to know that, that's right under there. And then this is a biggie for me, and it's because everything's mind, body, spirit. What's happening on the inside also happens on the outside, and you can make the shifts on the outside, but if you're not paying attention to the thoughts you're thinking and the words you're saying, things are going to take slower to shift. And so verbally claiming you're good, we often speak about, oh, I had a terrible night's sleep, or, oh, I'm so depressed, or, oh, that guy was so mean, or, oh, just the negative. And the more we put those words out, we just receive them back. And so it's claiming you're good, claiming, I've learned to I claim my good, I claim my deep sleep. Deep sleep is my good, and my good is God. I intend to sleep great tonight. Or whatever it is, just your health, whatever it is, just claiming it, verbalizing it, I think is just so important, that we need to really put that out there, because we will receive much more. Even if we don't believe it, we say it anyway.
Exactly. Right.
Yes.
Right. Totally fake it till you make it there.
Yep. And then finally, don't take yourself too seriously, because as adults, we really sometimes forget how to have fun. And if we're not in our joy, if we're not remembering what joy looks like or feels like, then that can cause a lot of issues with our health, with our sleep, with our happiness. And I know that for many, many, many years, on and off, that I was really depressed and I was anxious, and there was no room for joy. I felt as if there wasn't, but it's always there. And there's signs. Like, I love to dance, and whenever I danced, I would be happy. And so it's, what is your heart calling you to do? Because oftentimes we kind of just push those things aside. We're not paying attention. And we really need to kind of look at that. And what are your gifts and talents? What are you good at? It's really important to utilize these gifts that we've been given, because then we're flowing. Then we're in the flow. We're feeling better. We're sleeping better. And I just encourage you to think about, how can you make more room for this in your life? Whatever comes to mind, how can you make more room for it? Because we're the own creators of our lives. We're the only ones that create our lives. And so what do you need to let go of in order to experience more of this joy? So I just wanted to end with that, just because that was just a big part of me once I stepped into this new spiritual path of mine, and I was willing to kind of let go of the fear of, what are people going to think of me when I start to talk about spiritual stuff versus the interior designer. I really had a lot of turmoil over that, and it's kind of funny now that I look back and think, why was I stressing about that so much? I mean, this is where my heart was calling me. I needed to do this, and so I'm really grateful.
It's hard to be sometimes authentic and to show your true self and say, this is who I am. And, that's takes courage.
Yes,
but we're glad you did it.
Well, thank you.
I mean, seem to have been blessed as a child to kind of know what direction you wanted to go in, and then to find your calling, and then to move into it in such a big way and share it with others. It's just so beautiful.
Thank
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
so much. Thank you so much. Well,
Mhm.
I'm so grateful to finally have stepped up and out of the shadows and into
Yes.
the light. And
Yeah.
we can all do this in our own way and
Mhm.
share what we've been given. And just and we're here for each other. That's all that it's all about, really.
Right,
How
right.
can we help each other out?
Yeah.
So
In this journey called life. Yep.
yes. So finally, I have my complimentary gifts. Like I said, I wanted to give you all your best personal directions. So if you copy this link that I have on this last page here, it's kind of a strange link, but it's www.eepurl.com /C capital L capital W 3D5. So it'll take you right to a page where you can just put your name in and your email address, and you will be sent your best personal directions. And then I also wanted to offer a complimentary 15-minute phone consultation with me, and there's a link for that as well. So if you have any questions about will Feng Shui fit into my life, or how can I help you, or if you have any questions about this webinar, feel free to contact me. I've got my information here, my email address, and my website.
And this will all be on. This will be made available in the next day or so. The whole PowerPoint presentation, everything. So you'll be able to go back and look at this and get the information there.
Perfect.
Just in case
Great.
somebody doesn't have a pen and paper, it's not going anywhere. So
wonderful.
Well, thank you so much, Kristin. That was really you've named your business very well, Enlightened Living Spaces. I love it, and just
thank
the
you.
way you brought the two together so beautifully, and presented so much wonderful information. A lot to take in, a lot to think about, and we just appreciate you taking the time to do it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And we do have a question from Hannah. She wants to know any advice for apartment dwellers. It's kind of a broad question, so.
Okay. Well, basically, you treat your apartment just as you would a home. So there really isn't any difference. I don't really know from her question what she's asking, because there's, from what angle is she asking how she could be helped.
Yeah.
But it really is pretty much, I don't know if she's thinking that maybe she can't change things around or change paint color. I'm not sure if she's got certain things.
This would be a great, Hannah, take advantage of this wonderful complimentary 15-minute phone consultation.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, but we do appreciate the question.
Yep.
Yeah, all righty. Well, thank you again. I'm just going to do a little closing now, do just a little housekeeping before we hang up.
Okay.
Okay. So for this, as I said, you see Kristin's information here, and it will be available on YouTube and on our website if you didn't have a chance to copy it all down. And if you, of course, you're going to want to listen to it again. Next month, we have as our speaker, where did my piece of paper go? Webinar for next month is going to be Wednesday, May 23rd. Our presenter will be Jennifer Capozzi. Jen is a plant medicine practitioner, a plant-based chef, herbalist, and owner of Barloom Apothecary in Philadelphia. She'll be discussing breast health and lymphatic support utilizing plant medicine and whole foods. So you don't want to miss that. And lastly, as you know, your confidence in us is our highest compliment. If you find value in the services that TDI and Health Through Awareness provide, please consider leaving us a positive Google review. And on that note, I'll say good night and thank you once again.
Good night. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.